Good evening. You're listening live to the Xtreme Movie Show. I, of course, am your host, Rob, from Pine Hills Palace, just west of Orlando, Florida. The traffic is getting insane here, RDV, and I know you're from the great Midwest. I see you on my Xtreme Studio screen, and I also see a bunch of pictures of, looks like, Season 3, Episode 4 of Reacher tonight. Is that correct, sir?
No, we're on season 1.
Well, shit, we better cancel the stream before people show up. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we're continuing our review of Reacher because we love it a lot. So, Artie and I actually don't do a lot of television together, but we love Reacher, so that's why we're doing it. He's jacked as fuck in this episode. Do I need to mention that again?
No. But this is season 3, episode 4, called Dominique. This is another flashback before the Special Investigators Unit, which I love because I don't. And we covered that in season 2. So let's go even further before that. When he first became, got his own little office there before he hired anybody else to be his team. The first person he comes across investigating, and his boss says, "Hey, we got this this other girl coming in from another unit. She's going to help you out because he knew eyes on his case, an espionage case, or more like selling states government secrets to foreign nationals." And so she's brought in, and Reacher establishes right away. Don't call me sir, call me Reacher. And it's which is a really important thing. He does with everything, but for this episode, more importantly, Reacher just becomes what we've seen before when he introduces himself. He's a very straightforward, but he's also a very honorable person. So Reacher had been working on this case, and they're watching this one military guy, and they knew that he was leaking secrets. They didn't know how to. So his boss appointed Dominique Knoll to basically work with him, and they track down the information, and they discover this drop at the park, and they go there, they watch it, they see this guy drop up an envelope, and they're distracted. Turns out it was a version, because where the guy went to go back to his car, that's where the real trash can was, and they missed it. It was in the newspaper. They bring this dude in, they kind of give him a squeeze. Turn out this guy's being blackmailed. This guy, someone who works in government, or we call it the national intelligence, or whatever, basically kidnapped his daughter and then returned it back, a day later, and said like, as you work for me now, it's all. And he basically gives a name. No, and then that's where we get what's his boy down there? We get Xavier Quinn, the guy who Jack Reacher has been tracking down. Now we're getting a story because basically at the end of the episode, Reacher had been promoted to the second man. He ends up going back and dropping back off, but he says he's going for lunch. He has an hour talk. He visits Duffy and the rest of the FBI agents, and she demands to know more about this Dominique, what his connection to Quinn is, because Quinn is Jacob, the bad guy who basically who Beck works for, and now Reacher works for, he's undercover for. So it was kind of cool to see how they wrapped this all together, connecting it. So with Reacher telling the story of Dominique, and basically Quinn, how he first met Quinn, is very literally thought out, and very I love how he dispatches them. But even before that, they set you up to really like this Dominique Knoll. She's a very sweet girl. She's short and stuff. We're talking about this, beforehand. It's like, do you think they did this on purpose? Is Amazon, thing? And I honestly, having her in this intelligence, whether it's believable or not, it doesn't really throw me for a loop. It doesn't take me on the story. But together with the Reacher, they track down who this guy is. They watch him. They shake down the foreign national who was getting the blueprints, and they use him. And so after they collect all their information, he says Noel was like, well, I was like, well, let's go get him. He's like, no, because originally they want to go get a beer with him. He's like, I can't do that. That'll compromise everybody's trust in you. Makes it that you're only here because we're effing. He's like, I'm not going to do that. So they have a beer there. This is in the first photo, and then later on when they go arrest him, basically he says, no, you go. You're the arresting officer.
You earned it.
Yeah, you earned it. go do it. You do get the credit, and he lets her go. And it's been 60 minutes. It should only take a 30-minute drive. He calculates how much time you need for stopping resting and stuff. He ends up. So his boss says, "Why don't you text her?" He texts her, and then she replies back with the phone and says, "Sir," and he realizes that's not her. Something went wrong because he calls him Reacher. And they end up going investigating with this, and they find one of the other FBI agents that work for them. He is dead on the ground, and Reacher makes a compliment. It's like, I told you, always watch your back. Never deal with your own shit first before you try to protect somebody else. And that's what the guy obviously got killed. And they realize that she's been abducted, and together, him and his boss, Reacher's boss, they just basically retrace everything, what would be going on. It leads them to a farm. He goes in the barn, and that's where you get the bottom photo. Unfortunately, Dominique has been brutally murdered and tortured because obviously Richard said the guy's going to want to know who her supporting commander is, and that would be him. But he knows that she's a tough girl, soldier. She's not going to give up. And and so I honestly I like the fact that Reacher was able to dispatch this guy. The only issues I have, because it's in snow and he's sneaking up, sometimes you can hear crunches of snow and stuff. But he's a heavy guy. Not only that, Reacher takes him out, to a river and shoots him with his own pistol, the little 22, and the guy falls in this raging river. There's no way this guy survives. Even if you're shot or not.
But we know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. So we've already established this with Reacher being able to swim through the ocean and get back out. At night. But the cops show up. He already took down Noel's body, put in the barn, put a blanket over her and stuff.
I think that the way I would describe this episode, because obviously you pretty much had a clear, condensed version of it, is we talked about last week with episode 3, in my opinion, being the best of the 3 so far. At that point, where you got the sense of momentum building on it. This is one of those, we're going to put a pause on it so we can fill in some backstory. See why Reacher's after this guy. And I thought the way you described it is pretty accurate. It's unfortunate this young woman comes in to play this role and does it. We don't know who she is, an actress, or at least I don't. She doesn't look like anybody.
Yeah,
I thought she did the job very well. She struck me as being very professional, very smart. It didn't feel forced. I liked her and Reacher's dynamic together. I loved his explanations about why he does what he does. And ultimately, that's supposed to serve building up the character that we come to know him in these situations. And it's a nice reminder of where he learns his rules from, right?
We also get some more insight on his past, especially when they're talking and they're in the surveillance, when they're in the recon. She asks about who, he's like, oh, you're like about your father and stuff. And he says, well, my father was a very no-nonsense man. He didn't need much at all. And he's like, oh, so you're just like your father. And just like he had commented earlier, talked about her saying, like, you're very like your father, like you're hunting, you get your stuff done, and then you're about it. Both are
she was very capable. I mean, she come from a hunting family, this and that, and there wasn't a fuck up here. It's just that the guy that was selling secrets, which is a boring angle, they didn't get into it too much, or at least right now. I assume it's a front for guns. No spoilers. I don't really know what it is.
We don't know.
Right, but I like how we don't know. We don't need to know. So them sitting there talking and getting to know each other while they're watching a drop is a great scene, and I love that the drop has a switcheroo in it. Yeah, it shows you that the people who are doing it aren't just a bunch of dumbasses or whatever like that. There's a level deeper to it, right? And so Reacher finds himself in these situations, and I love that. It's not just a normal, hey, here's a lackey, let me pop him, let me go up the food chain. It's, something else is going on here.
Yeah, we also get Xavier Quinn, more background on him. During the psychological juvie profile, that he was tortured animals. He's very sick fuck. That's all I'll leave it at that. He's, like Anthony Hopkins, Sounds of the Lambs, kind of messed up.
Yeah, and
but so we get to learn more about him. He also reinforces the villain not just being a pushover, and that's why he's in control, because he's basically he's ruthless. Same thing with we talked about Tulsa King. Jackie, the guy who worked for Neil McDonald, was another guy, no nonsense, and just didn't care, heartless, cold killer, which I like. I'm tired of we get the villains where they're just misunderstood. No, this is a guy who basically.
I understand you killed somebody.
Yeah,
that's all I need to know.
Yeah. But honestly, no, it reinforces more because I said I want more explanation why these villains are. I don't need to have like their daddy abused them or whatever. Just have them do things and make them unredeemable. That's all you need to
Let
do.
us fill in the blanks with
Yeah.
our brain watching this
Yep.
to see how evil this guy could be, not because he's Asian and
No.
he frowns all the time. So we automatically think he knows karate or some shit. Let us know that this goes back a long way. Reacher's seem alive. That's a great bit of acting.
Yeah.
Let us fill in those blanks instead of having some guy say, you know, when he was young, he just showed no empathy. I don't give a shit. That's 21st century crap.
Honestly,
It's not
though,
scary.
to me, no, I like the fact that it shows more information on this guy because at this point we haven't seen it. We don't know anything about this guy. We just know that Reacher's after him and he killed one of his friends. That's all we know. But I like the fact that it's established that this guy is ruthless, and we also know that when Beck's son got kidnapped, the ear got cut off.
Yep.
Did this guy cut the ear off and keep it as a memento?
Well, you know what they say, right? Ear
Yeah.
today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the context of the episode really is the backstory, but they do it in such a way where he's telling the female cop who he's gonna bang that, you know, hey, here's what's going on.
We don't know that, but
Yeah, come on. Yes, we do know that. You know, she's fucking him already.
Well, no, because
Stop it.
Hold on, listen to me. We've also got the maid that likes him too.
That's true. And the maid's got a bet. It's got the accent winner, guys. I don't think that's even disputable because when I hear Paktika and Yad and her going on and on, I'm like, uh-oh. But I like her, and you told
Sandra
me
Bullock. Sandra Bullock wannabe versus the French maid. Who's gonna win? But
that's like a no-brainer, isn't it? Though.
Both.
No, yes, everybody wins.
Yeah, everybody wins. But honestly, I like. It's actually been a good episode. And we get to learn more about this character and connecting the dots. Somehow the FBI boy guy is still alive. The new intern guy, field operator. He hasn't been killed yet, but he makes a small cameo there and asks the Duffy. It's like, hey, can I give him a smoke? So he's like, and she does, and I'm like, what?
You know the protocol.
Yeah, it's like, she's like, oh. So, like I said, I'm waiting for that. Remember, that's red herring. We thought he was gonna die last episode, episode 3. When he was along with the bodyguard, and right now there's a problem because they took the laptop, Angel's laptop, not knowing that it's being tracked.
Mm-hmm.
So of course Duffy's got the laptop, and her and her partner, they go over to check out the different shipping sites or holding sites. They're gonna check out the cargo, not knowing that basically Beckett sent 3 goons. They go take him out, kill him. And he also sends Reacher. So Reacher's like, what? So Reacher now knows this. He's on his way over there. He's calling her phone. Her phone's it's basically going to voicemail because we learn when you're in there that there's the guy that her partner says there's no bars.
Yeah.
So, and then it's left with basically the goons showing up, seeing the car, and then entering the facility and says nobody leaves here alive.
I don't know if I care about them trying to find this girl. The young FBI agent who he knows those long stories. All right, just fuck up already so we can move on with it. The thing that I'm thinking is interesting. I'm gonna go back to the kid that was kidnapped. His father, played by Anthony Michael Hall. I'm wondering if it's going to turn out he's going to have to help Reacher, or what's going on because he's being leveraged, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. They've already talked about this guy coming in, taking over the framework of this guy's company. It's just, is there going to be one more level of detail that hasn't been introduced yet? Or if it has, I've not seen it or can't think of it off the top of my head. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out. That seems to be pretty interesting to me. And the fact that we get a little bit of violence or whatever like that's great. It doesn't have to go hardcore action-packed. Just have it enough. It doesn't need to be like season 2. Thankfully, through 4 episodes, it hasn't been. So it's an episode that I find myself going, yeah, they've got to pause it here, fill it in with some backstory crap. That doesn't mean it's bad, but when momentum's building, that makes me want to see the next one. And then when they put on pause, I'm like this, I just feel like, okay, now they almost have to restart to get the ball rolling again. But that's the ebb and flow of trying to produce something and fill in stuff. I hate this backstory technique stuff. I just don't. I mean,
I said I like this being a weekly drop because it actually.
Well, I like that though. Yeah,
it's written that way. If they had been a weekly drop and it was written for binge mode only, like some shows are, it's like, yeah, it ruins the thing because within a week, you may have moved on to something else. or you forgot the new episode came out, and you get one behind, then another behind, and that's how I feel like with Cobra Kai. That's a binge series, but they're dropping it in like 6-episode chunks until for the final season, and we reviewed the first 6 episodes, and I haven't any desire to go back and finish it.
It's all done.
Yeah, I know it is all done, but I mean, like, it was done. It was season 5. It didn't need a season 6, and that's why. That's kind of the reason why I haven't gone back this series, because I was like, they defeated Tony Silver. Everyone has a happy ending. It's over with. Boom, done.
All right, so let me use that as a comparison here, and then bring it back to Reacher. So bear with me here.
Yeah.
There was a show that was really popular, and I didn't necessarily watch a ton of different cable shows. Like, I'd never seen The Sopranos. I've never seen some other things. I've started watching some stuff, whatever. But there's a show that was very popular, and you may know the name of it, called Breaking Bad. The high school guy. And really, the whole story is the guy, it's a deconstruction, right? We've talked, I think I brought this up with some movie a few weeks back or a month or two ago. But the idea is that you're taking a high school teacher who's really smart, and whatever his normal situation is, breaks down and becomes this other person, and it's really not a good thing. Well, the last 2 episodes of whatever the final season is, some people think that that's like the epilogue or coda or whatever you want to call it at the end. Like, you don't need those 2, but they just had them there to fill in some loose ends and stuff. And I feel like kind of what you're saying here kind of applies when we talk about Reacher. At least we like him as an individual. I'm not saying we like the character in Breaking Bad.
Walter White's awesome.
Sorry for him. Well, is he a likable guy? I don't know. We liked him we liked him becoming assertive, but he became a bad guy. And so do we really want to celebrate that?
No, his wife became a bad person. She cheated on him, and then betrayed him.
Okay, I'm not talking about his wife or the students that he taught or anything else there at all, or his cancer diagnosis. Whatever.
You're not going to convince me. He's a good guy, bro.
Okay, he snuffed out his partner's girl, let her choke on her vomit or something, right? He's a good guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so why is he a good guy for doing that?
Because she was going to cause problems as it was, and she was going to die eventually anyway.
So that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
So what's the goodness in that? Killing somebody because you think they're going to cause problems in the future. I'm just saying, my point being here is that you're
not going to make him hate Walter White because he did that one thing.
No, but my point is we have bad guys that are celebrated as bad guys, when really what we're trying to say is they're doing a very good job at it. And it's tough because a lot of movies and TV shows these days don't have a character that you can rally around that's assertive and naturally a good role model. And I think the idea of Reacher as a character is like the adult military version of like a superhero, right? Because he's big, he's strong, he's smart, he's effective, he's everything you could ask for. And so as an individual, I think that makes it better in the show that it sort of revolves him and not his team. Yeah, we're going to get stories like today where in episode 4 that we had the backstory and it fills in some of those gaps, but ultimately it's that adventure of the week kind of thing, going to a different town and all that. And that's exciting to me, but make no mistake about it. It's only going to be as good as the bad guy or really the stories.
I mean, is Reacher someone we can rally about? He's killing bad guys.
Well, I was going to bring that up. They've already done something bad. It's not that they've done something in the future or might. But he does make the comment to her in one scene that I thought was interesting. Or actually, we talked about it last week. So remember when they're in the warehouse and they had killed the guy and they have to go back and clean up the mess and they're literally scrubbing the blood off. And he's like, yeah, blood is so hard to get out. She's like, how often have you done this? That's an interesting piece of writing because is he a bad guy? I mean,
her partner was this episode here we're talking about. They're in the warehouse and Reacher has killed so many guys, and he's in there. Even before the warehouse, they talked on the way there. She was talking. He says like, are you ready to go to jail for this girl? The girl you put in there, because the girl basically we're giving more information about the girl. I think her name was like Sophie. I can't remember what her name was.
It was a good interrogation scene. Yeah, right.
Basically, she admitted basically like the reason why this girl's in there is because I pretty much blackmailed her. So either you do this or you go to prison. Pretty much that. And now she feels guilty about this. And now that she knows what you're dealing with, this crazy individual, and know what happened to Dominique. No, she really fears for this girl, and she's ignoring the fact that Reacher has been murdering people. He blew up the DA safe house again. Yeah. And Reacher basically, and the other officers kind of noticing that. It's like, well, when Reacher comes around, it's like you put your blinders on because it's all for this girl, because you're letting Reacher do whatever he wants to do. and that's a problem. So,
I think you're hitting on something here that's really interesting, because I'll call back to one of the first 3 episodes, the scene where they kind of like interrogate Reacher in that hotel with the duck, swimming around that real shitty pool and all that. And he's basically like, no, fuck you. And he's just being real literal, answering her questions, making them seem like assholes, which that's always cute and fun. But then he gets roped into it. I thought to myself, I don't like these people. I don't know that they're bad people, but they're going about it wrong, in my opinion. But they're being what cops are, kind of assholey, and you're going to do what I say or else. And Richard's like, well, fuck you. And I like that. But I'm looking at this group of people going, man, I don't know if you look. I feel bad for the girl we have never met that's undercover, right? Because I don't like the cop group that's out together. I'm not saying they're doing a bad job, but I just feel like at least Reacher seems to be motivated by something, right? This one girl now saying she feels guilty for it was a nice touch, because otherwise they were getting very, I think, one-dimensional, right?
Duffy.
Yeah.
You keep saying smart girl.
Well,
that could comply. That could be Noel you're talking about, because Noel's a smart girl.
Well, I like that we don't know where it's going, and then it just keeps going on. This is less of a detective episode. This is more of an information dump.
Well,
not my favorite.
I have somewhat of an idea where it's going, because now we know this guy is Quinn is the guy that he basically took to his friend Noel. Reacher shot him, left him for dead, and as soon as he sees Reacher, or even a photo or any of that stuff, Reacher's cover's blown. Yeah. And obviously this guy's gonna want to see Beck in person, and then Beck was going to insist that he was going to introduce him, a new right hand man to you. It's going to cause an issue. But as far as what they're smuggling, probably military grade weapons.
Yeah, I think so.
It has to be with the blueprints, the secrets and stuff like that. Yeah, that's something I can think of.
And the manifest probably some sort of code, which is kind of cool in a way.
Yeah. But as far as for Duffy and them, what's going to happen in the next episode, and I think by the time Reacher gets there, I think Duffy will probably survive, but I think her partner might die. We'll find out.
Let me ask you this, out of curiosity. I don't know when this book was written. I think he started writing his books in the late 90s or whatever, and like one a year, whatever it is, mid 90s maybe. So I'm not sure which book number this is. But remember at the beginning how you said, and it's probably the worst example of something being somewhat implausible, not the big guy walking in snow making sounds, but the standing on a ledge and getting shot and he falls into the water. There's no way he would survive that.
Yeah,
I'm being serious here. I'm being serious when I ask you this. I'm not joking. Do you think somehow, if that was in the book, or at least in this episode, whoever wrote it, whether they took it from the book or the TV show writer bought in, do you think honestly that they ripped off The Fugitive? Because immediately I'm going to mind going, guys, even if that was in the book originally and no intention was supposed to be made to look like it, it just looks like The Fugitive to me, and I didn't like that.
Well, this is based off of Lee Child's book called The Persuader, which came out in 2003, and according to everybody on Google and information, they're saying so far this series has been the most faithful adaptation of the book.
Okay.
So you're not. So you said you're not getting any crap put in there that doesn't belong in there. They might be leaving some stuff out though,
sure,
because they have so many episodes. But honestly, I've been liking this. Like I said, this is a very good book, and you know what? I'm reason probably liking this series a lot, because this is no different than watching Bosch, which is done by Mitch Connolly, and it's very faithful to the book series.
Mm-hmm.
And Amazon, when they're on. Well, they're on. Yeah, Amazon Fire, Kindle, whatever you call it. They're on. And when they start pandering and doing other stuff, they're way. It's like bipolar. It's like we talked about this on my channel, Geeky Puppet Show, talking about as far as comic book industry. There are some people in there who actually want to put out really good stories, and that's all they care about is making money. There's the other side who cares about pandering and losing money and doesn't care. They just want a virtue signal. So it kind of feels like that with Amazon right now. And this is one of those shows where basically are done by people who just want to put out a good show, want to have fun, make money, and that's it. Because that's the bottom line: is that you're a production company. You in order to make money, you got to spend money, but you got to be competent with your writing, who you cast up, in order to make the money back. Otherwise, you are just losing money, and you are ultimately a failure. And no one wants to be a failure. So I said, Reacher's been a fun show, and I'm
Yeah.
happy that it's still going. I hope it goes for like 6 more seasons.
Oh, no, I want it to go like 10, 15. I think it could. It's just a question of the
Oh,
salary.
he'll get older by 15 seasons.
I don't care. I really don't. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
You can order them in such a way because they're not going in order by the books, where you can say the more recent ones where he might be a little older can do that, right? So they've already have 3. They'll probably announce 4 if they haven't already, and they'll be filming this year, and it'll come out next year, beginning of the year. We're getting used to that. This is one of those things that could go on forever. And Alan Ritchson, to his credit, I believe is an executive producer. Now, I don't know if that's just a title because it's written in his contract, or how much actual influence he has in getting it produced. But I believe he's been that way since the first season, which is kind of good because that means it seems like he's going, you know what? I've got a property that works for me. This is my base hub that everything revolves around, and I'll fit the occasional movie or TV show around what I do. And for somebody to be associated with a property that has 3, I'll say 2 really good seasons and a meh one, because that's how I rank it. But the point is they're popular, and Amazon's not going to fund stuff too much if it's really bad or really not making money. I think people have been really appreciative of the quality that they put into it and the thoughtfulness of it. And to your point, if people that right now are saying, hey, this is really like the book, is really faithful to it, I'm telling you, you're going to have a built-in base of these Jack Reacher fans that are going to carry it through like a good 5-10 seasons. When
I see shows like this, shows like Bosch Legacy still going and all, and they're not doing the pandering, all the weird crap, I have faith that with the James Bond coming out, be acquired by MGM, or by Amazon, we might get something good. We don't know. But because most of the shows we review on this channel is Taylor Sheridan shows are on Paramount Plus.
Yep.
Paramount Plus also has South Park, which is very, very unbiased. They make fun of everything, and that's kind of what America used to be. Nobody got offended. If you got offended, oh well, go watch something else. Didn't care. And I'm hoping with shows like Reacher continues to do this, and I said these have been really thought out, well written episodes. Acting has been good on this too. We're still waiting on the big fight between Reacher and the big dude, Lucas, or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be fun. I always love that kind of stuff when you have a guy who thinks he's tough, he's a badass, and then he comes and goes, oh shit, there's always one guy that's taller than you. I love that. It's cliche, but I live for that stuff. But
where's this rank as far as the episodes? Is it up there, or is it kind of at the bottom?
I kind of rank them all together. I really don't rank them separately. Here's my thing. If I'm still enjoying the show, it's the 4th episode, and I still want to see the next episode, it's doing well. That's how I rank it.
I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because sometimes you have to watch a show in order. Otherwise, you go, what did I miss? This is an episode, I'm being serious here when I say this, you could take it out, and I don't think you miss anything. You might miss how much it matters to him in the backstory, but that's what I mean by a backstory filler. If I had to take one episode out of the season, as far as, I'm not saying being good or bad, but whether you ultimately had to have it, you didn't have to have this one. The first 3 are setting up like the world. I think these next 3 are going to be kind of like getting all the pieces in play, and then the last 3 are going to be execution. I don't know that we'll see any more characters, but you brought up the French maid. I'd almost forgotten about her. There's a little bit more talking here in this episode, so you're right. This could go somewhere. It's not a love interest, but it makes me feel like you could be a part of it somehow, some way.
Twice the French maid has seen him in his knickers. It's like, so you wonder what's going to happen. And also, other episode in this episode, we glossed over the fact that Reacher was showing Beck's son how to throw a punch, defend himself. So
he's going to have to use that, right?
A nice bonding moment, yes.
Yeah.
And the kid trusts him. I think the kid does.
I think like it, yeah.
Oh, well, also the thing is, our next episode, we're going to have Beck is having his 50th birthday party. A lot of guests over.
That's
people
right.
from town and stuff, and Reacher wanted kind of no idea who was.
Anytime you have a party, nothing ever goes as planned. We know this.
Yeah, so it's a birthday party. Reacher can't leave, can't do anything. He can't, so he's got, in order to contact them, if anything happens up, it's gonna cause issues. And I think it's gonna happen. I think Xavier Quinn's gonna show up at the birthday party unannounced.
Because it's never just a birthday party.
Yeah.
Things
So,
get plotted, schemed out. It's going to be a
yes.
meeting of the minds. It's going to
Yeah.
be a concentration of all the evilness so far in this episode of names implied and names already been seen and maybe names unseen. I'm
Yeah.
sounding like an ass, but I agree with you. And it's halfway through the season, right? I think it's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're more than halfway done.
And Richter having, I said, eventually those two are going to meet. And who say he doesn't know that Richter's already there? We don't know. But yeah, curious to see what happens. I think we'll end it right around here. We think we pretty much talked the episode to death, talked about everything else. And so if you guys are watching at home, please click like or subscribe if you haven't done so. Go down below in the comment section, leave a comment what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Do you think it was just like Rob? You can just leave it out and no one really cares. What do you think of Dominique Knowles' character? Do you think she was a good additional to the cast? I mean, obviously, we want more Neely up there in the corner up there because Neely is pretty much a badass, and Neely is getting her own spinoff show. I'm interested to see what they do with that. And you sigh because
I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot.
The reason you sigh is for a valid reason because we've seen what Amazon does with shows. We've seen Rings of Power, but I think that if they do Neely justice, it won't be like I hate white men.
She's been capable, right? And
yeah,
we don't trust Amazon. Amazon's who we don't trust.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, we know Neely. He basically doesn't like to be touched. We'll get to learn more reason about that. Hopefully, it doesn't go into pandering and just where it basically turns her into a victim and stuff like that. I don't like that crap, But anyway, that's it for the episode.
Tuesday night.
Guys. Tuesday night will be Landman. Billy Bob Thornton. We're gonna Eric Breed's gonna join us at 7 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry. And Eric Breed will join us. We'll be talking about the season review of Landman, which is on Paramount Plus. Another Taylor Sheridan show, starring Michelle Randolph from the Yellowstone 1921.
I will say this about Landman. I only watched it because I heard it was supposed to be very different than a lot of shows that are out there in terms of some of the things they say about the current political / energy politics that are alive and well here in the United States. Too. Yeah, and for all the Rob's Redskins fans on here, please, I go back to the late 70s, early 80s with the Redskins. Do not brandish me an enemy when I say this. I am of clean mind. I'm sound mind and body when I say this. I shit a brick when I saw Jerry Jones have a cameo in an episode, and I'm watching Jerry Jones, and I go, I don't know if it was written, if it was real. Don't know the man. I have to shit on Dallas because they're a mortal enemy. But Jesus Christ, Jerry Jones crushed it in his role. And I don't know if people agree or hate it or what, but there's some good stuff about it. But it's like we said about Tulsa King, or at least the way I think about it. I only watched Tulsa King because it was Stallone. I only watched this because it was Billy Bob.
Well,
so we'll take a look at that.
Taylor Sheridan's also conservative too, as well. That's why his shows are pretty much are really good. So far, so far.
It's a little different.
I popped because I've been watching. I still had a couple more episodes left over. Be it Ben Browder, John Crichton plays the general on there. Comes out there to help him out with.
Yeah. You're up to that point. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So, Ali Larder, plays a perfect role. Annoying ex-wife.
Sexist wife.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
A lot of good-looking women on this in this show, and it's just they do not hold back. Billy Bob Thornton is Billy Bob Thornton. Either you love Billy Bob Thornton or you don't. If you don't like Billy Bob Thornton, I have questions because he always plays the most fun roles in like everything he's done. From our Armageddon all the way up to here, his role in this is great. If you like Tulsa King, you're gonna like this. Yeah.
Tuesday night, we're looking forward to that, and be looking for the new poll that we'll put up there because we've switched the schedules on that. So we'll probably put some Gene Hackman films on that is what I'm thinking. So thank you guys for watching, listening, retweeting, and all that kind of stuff. I'm seeing some more comments out there. It's always great. I believe next week we'll be starting our drops that I wanted to mention to everybody here. I believe they're free on Tubi as well as some other channels. It's going to be the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It's the Granada ones that have Jeremy Brett in there, going back to I think 88 or 89, the first season, A Scandal in Bohemia. So check those out. Started watching that again. Brings back a lot of memories because it's such a good show too. But looking forward to covering that. Until then, guys, good night.
Later, guys.